the first person you can see his name on the register.
This meeting is being recorded.
He wants to put it on the
Now we can start. Now we can start.
Kalpesh is a very particular person. Had a very successful Toastmasters journey.
Thank you. So good morning, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. My name is Kalpesh and I am Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. Before starting the meeting, I would like to mention the 3 ground rules which we follow in our Toastmaster club. First, please switch off or silent your mobile. Second, as a Toastmaster, we don't talk about sex, politics, religion, so please refrain discussing these topics. And third, please do not cross talk. As a mission of our Toastmaster Club to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which member can empower their develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and a personal growth. With that note, I would like to welcome the person who has 14 years of experience in Toastmaster and our president, DTM Nidesh.
It's really difficult to talk on something inspiring every week. While I was driving to this place, I had 3-4 different stories in my mind as what I should talk about when we start. And as the theme of the day that would be introduced by our TMOD, I thought there is one story which might be closer to what is the theme. I will not reveal the theme because that is TMOD's job. But this story I remember and I thought I'll share, and then probably we'll begin. We have one guest, so can we start with your introduction and then we'll go to the story? Yes.
Sure. Thank you, President. Fellow Toastmasters. I am Suresh. I work for a professional services from EY as a consultant. I stay near Garden City University, KRB. I brought up here, so born in Tamil Nadu, in one of the village. So Toastmaster is something, I was part of the Toastmaster Club very long before, maybe 8-9 years before, for one of the clubs, Bangalore CA's Toastmaster Club, predominantly for CA, SW and CA. So I was part of the club for almost 2 years, I think. But for some reason, I couldn't continue that journey afterwards. But I always feel that there's a lot of scope for improvement in my public speaking and leadership skills and communication. So I was longing for it, but fortunately, I think finally I got some time. I have to make it now. So that's how I'm here. Looking forward to be part of this. Thank you.
So let me remind you that Toastmasters membership is for lifelong. So once you are a member, you will always be a member. You don't have to pay any membership fee now. But yes, that's whenever you can wish, you can always run back. Okay, with that, I'll go back to the story that I was talking about. Especially in India, we live in a country where every 100 kilometers or even less than that, there will be a new language, new way to communicate with people. And when I was doing my MBA, I had an opportunity to interact with our HRD minister that time. That time it was Murli Manohar Joshi, and then we had an interaction on communication and languages. And I personally feel that he is a very learned person, and he has a lot of, not like now HRD ministers are made. He was really learned and he was really great. So he talked about a very nice concept about communication and evolution of languages. And I really like that, and I would love to quote it here as well. So we were talking about communication about Indian languages and English primarily, which is now a global language. And he was saying that when it rains a lot, and these days it's a rainy season, so we see that here also. He said that we tell this phrase that it's raining like cats and dogs, but there is a history behind this phrase, and we use it here as well. So what happens in UK, England, and in other European countries that in every house they have kept a shelter for their pets, cats and dogs. It's a wooden, and when it rains really heavily, then water drops starts coming in to those shelters for cats and dogs, and then they start jumping out from that to their rooms, and that's how they know that it's raining heavily. And they started using this phrase like it's raining like cats and dogs. Means cats and dogs are jumping on your bedrooms and all. We use the same phrase here when we have a heavy rain. But is it relevant? Can we actually explain a kid that why we are saying it's raining like cats and dogs? No, we use like in Hindi we say that Musladhar baris. So it has a meaning, it has a relevance as why it is called so. And similarly for cats and dogs. And it is applicable to so many phrases, so many things that we use in the language. And that's why you see that in India, according to different regions, different cultures, there's a different language. And language is primarily the way you are connecting with that culture. That's how it is developed. So I remember this story on communication, and I thought I'll share it. It's very interesting. We as a global audience, like global member of Toastmasters, we use English as a language, but we started using our regional languages as well. But we need to understand as why this has evolved and how it can be used in our own environment. With that, I guess I got this feedback, so I open this meeting. And let's go to the person who will take us through this journey. Very interesting theme today. I'm looking forward to that theme, and especially for me because I'm working in a company from last 10 years who is pioneer of communication. We have 60,000 plus patents in that area, and every company who is in that, be it Apple, Samsung, everybody pays us. So it's very important. I would like to invite someone who inspired me to do this chat GPT session once. Toastmaster Trilok.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So in 1775, it was during the times of American Revolution, there was one part of US which was close to the Boston area. It was under attack from the British forces. But this attack was twofold, both from land and water. The problem that the American revolutionaries were facing was that they did not know where the next attack is going to come from, land or water. So they were not sure how to consolidate the forces to defend themselves. So during this time, there was this person called Peter Revere who came up with this brilliant idea to find a solution to this. So before getting into that, I'll talk about how the land was. So Boston was here, there was this river, and then there was this stretch through which all the resistive forces were present. And if they had to defend the land, they had to move all of the forces on this side, which was water on this side. So this person came up with this idea. He took a lamp, and every night he used to ride on a horse with this lit lamp indicating that the attack was going to happen from the land. And when the attack was going to happen with water, he used to take two lamps. So this binary signaling helped him in communicating the fact that whether the attack is going to happen from the land or water. And correspondingly, the forces were able to consolidate and defend themselves. Now, from moving this information from on feet to say smoke signals to this technique, then to telegram, and ultimately to emails, we've come a long way in progressing towards reducing the distance barrier in communication. In a parallel dimension, we as humans, we have realized that sounds are an effective way of communicating in the vocal format, and that led to the invention of languages. Similarly, we also identified that art can be used to translate and persist information, and that led to the invention of scripts. And the scripts, as we know, have helped in retaining the information and transferring the information across geographies and the dimension of time itself. Coming to Toastmasters, I think that Toastmaster itself is the symbolism for this evolution in communication that has happened over ages. And in our own humble way, a mark to take it forward further. All right. So let's move to the agenda for this meeting. Any Toastmaster meeting consists of three parts. The first are the prepared speeches, where the speakers speak on topics that they have selected and prepared on. The second is table topics, which is targeted towards impromptu speaking. Today we are not going to have that. And the third are the evaluations, where the speakers get feedback on the speeches that they have made that day. Now, talking about evaluations, let's hear more from our general evaluator for the day. This is a person who holds an impeccable record of zero crutch words in his speeches. A person who has taken his journey from crunching numbers to crafting jokes. Please welcome Toastmaster Arun.
A big round of applause for just-in-time grammarians. Firstly, thank you, DTM Nitesh, for bringing up inspiring stories every week. It's fascinating to get that going to start the meeting. And Toastmaster Trilok, I can't wait to hear the next segment from you. Also the speeches. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Arun Sriram. I'll be the general evaluator for the day. As a general evaluator, my role is to evaluate the meeting from start to finish, various facets, including time, quality of speeches, evaluation, and most importantly, my partners in crime, the tag team. And to start the tag team's introductions, I would welcome a person who joined Toastmasters recently, and I always maintain if I don't get the introductions, I make my own introductions for them. So Venkatesh is from Manali in Himachal Pradesh, and he just came back from on-site in Mass, and here he is to tell us about Timer's role. Welcome on stage, Toastmasters.
Thank you, General Evaluator Arun. So, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and colleagues. Sorry, and guests. Okay. I am Venkatesh. Today, as a timer, I will time each speech, and also I will allot the speaker of the remaining time by showing 3 cards. I have 3 cards in my hand: green, yellow, and red. The green will indicate the minimum time. The yellow card will indicate the in-between time, and red card will indicate the end time. So we do have 2 speech sessions today. One is prepared speech, another one is evaluations. For prepared speech, I will show the green card for 5 minutes, and I will show the yellow card for 6 minutes, and I will show the red card for 7 minutes. For the evaluations, I will show the green card for 2 minutes, and I will show the yellow card for 2.5 minutes, and I will show the red card for 3 minutes. So is there any changes in the above state timeline? I kindly request the speaker and evaluator inform prior to start the speech. And I will end up the meeting. I will submit my timer report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well done, thank you. You did the second time, okay. So there's also a grace time of 30 seconds on either side for prepared speeches and for evaluation on the other side, right? So 3 minutes could become 3 minutes 30 seconds. Now I welcome the R-counter for today. He need not have given me any introduction, so he didn't. And he is a past essay, somebody who makes sure that the meeting starts on time, happens smoothly, and somebody whose presence is most felt when he's absent. If you miss him when he's not there, Toastmaster Kalpesh.
As a counter, the purpose of my role is I will observe the meeting and I will note down that the crunch verses and filler words. Like I am also using like that or other words like I, so, but, that. I will observe it and I will report. I will submit my report after when generally.
It's always a pleasure when someone joins us as a guest for a couple of meetings and then believes in Booty Toastmasters and Toastmasters in general. Put your hands together for the grammarian of the day, Toastmasters Soumya.
I don't know how much my grammar is good, but I'm trying. Yeah, so I'm going to point out when somebody uses word of the day and what went well, what could be improved. So yeah. Sorry?
Word of the day is?
It's adulation. Yes. Should I tell you the meaning? The meaning is praise. Like you praise somebody, adulation.
Thank you, Toastmasters Soumya. And with that, I would also like to tell you that I'll come back and present the GE report at the end of this meeting when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. Back to you.
So let's get started. And we have our first speech for today. Before getting to the speaker, I'd like to invite the first evaluator, a little from the evaluator. I feel that his dressing sense is top notch. But just to prove me wrong, today he wears chappals. He's an accountant by profession and he loves reading and charting. Please welcome Toastmaster Kiran as he reads out the evaluation criteria for the first speech.
Thank you, Trilok. Because I had to go somewhere, so I waited. Okay.
No more entry, no.
Okay, the speaker is giving a level 2 and project 1 in presentation mastery pathway. The purpose of the project name is understanding your communication style. It's not a title name, it's a project name. And the purpose of this speech is learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. And this speech for the member to share the second purpose is to share the impact of his or her style on the others. So all the best to speaker. Over to speaker.
Our first speaker is an abundance of positive energy. Every time somebody else is on the stage, I've seen him like nodding reassuringly so that it gets people going throughout the speech. Please welcome our immediate past president, Toastmaster Dixon. What's your communication style? What's your communication style, Toastmaster? Thank you.
While preparing for my speech, I consulted with my global consultant, ChatGPT, and found it to be not a waste of time. Instead, I did my research on the topic and instantly came to know that the definition provided by Toastmasters International is same as the same which I created in my own way. You must be thinking what I'm talking about today, right? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's all about different type of communication styles. There are no free lunches today here. In the middle of the speech, I will ask a question. Whoever gives the right answer first, this gift is for that Toastmaster. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. I created an acronym. I would like to call it as SAID. S-A-I-D. SAID. S for supporting communication style. A for analytical communication style. I for initiating. And D for anyone from the audience. What's that communication style? D stands for? Thank you, Toastmaster Arjit and Vaibhavi. Directive communication style. Before going further, I would like to give a brief idea what all this is all about. Supporting communication style, here the communicator is so much patient, sympathetic, and cooperative. He prefers to have an active listener and always helping his extended hand to support others. An analytical communicator. He is cautious, precise, and moreover a disciplined communicator. He prefers to have a diplomatic approach when you talk to the others, more like a professional. And initiating communicate, we all know, sociable, fun-loving person, right? And he always, because of his energetic and expressive nature, people think that he talks more than he listens. And the last, direct communication style. Focused, result-oriented, and moreover, a disciplined, independent communicator. But I'm really confused. How can I get a live example for all these communication styles in a precise manner? Then I remembered. Every husband has one solution for all the problems in their life. Any guess who is that? Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, silence. Apologize.
No, wife. You should think out of both always in Toastmasters. I started watching my wife very closely. Believe me, she is the plethora of communication style. I went to his home. When she walks into our room and talks to my 7-year-old daughter, are you studying or watching cartoon? Study first. It's just a directive communication. When she gets a WhatsApp message from her college gossip group, she became a sociable, fun-loving person. But sometimes when she gets calls from her student during some holidays and some study holiday time, she follow the passion, follow the principles of supporting communication style. The best part is, when she talks to her lovely mother-in-law, she wears a hat of analytical style. Cautious, precise, disciplined, diplomatic. You must be thinking, what kind of communication style she often shows to me? Unfortunately, I'm still searching the internet in the ChatGPT, didn't get the answer. Long way to go. But it's not about her. It's about me and you. What communication style do we have? I did my assessment. Everyone can do it during the level 2 project in Toastmasters. And here's the question. During my assessment, which communication style I scored more? Anyone? First one is initiative, directive, supporting, and analytical. Out of 4, which communication style I scored more? Supportive. Okay. We have one more chance now.
Director.
Yes. We'll go to it. Can you show the picture, please? So I'm more into an analytical style with a mix of directive and supportive. Okay. So since I'm from the finance background, this type of style always helps me a lot. During my review meetings about my performance, anyway, whatever it is. During the budget plans or cash management discussions, this analytical styles and direct styles with my people, with the team, helps me get things done like this. But the fact is, it never works at my home. I cannot be so much analytical to my wife. All husbands know wife, right? And I can be so much directive to my children. I am not supposed to be. It seems like I should start cultivating a skill of initiative communication style. Just like this. During weekends, my wife tells me, Dixon, don't ask me to cook anything, today's a holiday. Instead of that, I should start telling her, darling, today's a weekend. Let's go out. It's not good for my pocket, I know that. But it's good for a healthy family life. Fellow Toastmasters and girls, no one can have only one communication style. It should be the mix of a predominant style, in my case it's analytical, and 2 or 3 sub-styles. That sub-style, it should be cultivated and cautiously used on the basis of the situation. So I leave up to you. Which styles do you have? You analyze it and work it further. But don't go to ChatGPT for that. Over to you.
I think Dixon talked about communication more than what I am going to do. Okay, moving on. So today is one of the special events where both the speaker and the evaluator for the speaker are distinguished Toastmasters from their independence. So coming to the speaker is somebody who's always brimming with ideas when it comes to taking the Hoodie Toastmasters Club forward. He has given a lot of education to us on a variety of topics, starting from pathways to conservation of nature and how to make the best lemon rice. Please welcome Toastmaster Yaska.
So next speaker is doing his project 2 from Dynamic Leadership Pathway. The purpose of the project is to take feedback, apply it in the speech, and also share a feedback from the speaker. In this particular speech, the speaker will take feedback and apply it in his next speech. Back to you.
Our next speaker is a natural leader. Responsibility is his domain. He has founded more than 10 Toastmaster clubs across 4 districts, and I think this is just a speck in his accolades. Please welcome Toastmaster Nitesh for his speech. I forgot the title. Please, can you help me?
Power of thinking.
Power of thinking without thinking. Toastmaster Nitesh.
How many of you remember your school days? If I ask you to evaluate your teacher, can you do that? Any particular teacher? And how long did it take to evaluate that? When you entered the class or when you completed your year, semester, whatever it was?
I think for sector.
It's immediate response comes like this.
Okay. There was a research done by a psychologist called Nalini Ambedkar. She was doing a research on how much time it takes for students to evaluate a particular teacher. She took an example of a professor and showed 10 minutes mute clip, a video clip which was mute, to set of students and ask for the feedback. For the second set of students, she showed only 5 seconds video without sound. And third set of students, she showed only 2 seconds video without any sound. And interestingly, she got the same feedback from all 3 groups. And on top of that, she took this feedback form or feedback exercise to students of her own class who attended the class for 6 months, 1 semester, and took the feedback about the effectiveness of that professor. And interestingly, that was also similar. Can you beat that? Do you think it's possible? Yes, it's possible. And it is possible because there is something coming from your subconscious conscious mind. It's not something that you analyze. It's something that you come up with immediately. And the concept is called thin slicing. It happens so fast that you don't even realize, but you have made up your mind that this is what is the effectiveness of this professor. Or the other day I was talking about love at first sight, or liking a cloth, liking a house, liking a city, a person, anything. And it happens because of this concept called thin slicing. Now, let me take this journey a little ahead, and I'll talk about a few brands. So can you name a brand which was global top ranked brand for almost 50 years, more than 50 years?
Apple.
Ford.
Nike, Ford.
Ford.
If you go and search most popular brands, now you'll find Apple from last 10, 15 years. But there was a brand which was most popular on top of chart for more than 50 years. And there's a very nice story behind that.
Amul.
All these are Indian brands. I'm talking about global brands. Parle-G will not be rated high in any other.
Tata.
Ford.
Tata.
Enough of quiz answers. Coca-Cola. It was rated #1 brand for more than 50 years before Apple toppled it somewhere in 2002, 3, 4 or some year. But why it was popular? It didn't happen in a day. There's another story. There was another research on Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. And this research was done for people to understand what they actually like. So there were different set of people, and they were given probably half cup of Pepsi and Coca-Cola with blindfolded. They didn't know that whether they are drinking Pepsi or Coca-Cola, and they had to rate as what is their liking, whether they like this particular drink or that one. And they found that almost 80 to 85% people rated Pepsi on a higher side in terms of taste. Now, same exercise they did with same set of people, but they knew that whether they are taking Coca-Cola or Pepsi. And the response was completely different. Everybody, most of them, more than 85%, they rated Coca-Cola. Even people, those who rated Pepsi earlier, they rated now Coca-Cola. Why it happened like that? When they didn't know, they rated Pepsi, and Pepsi was really excited because they knew that now they are going to beat Coca-Cola. But it didn't happen when people knew that they are having Coca-Cola or Pepsi. And as I said, it didn't happen in a day. So whenever you see something and like it didn't happen on that particular moment, there is a history behind that, and that sits in your subconscious mind, and then it comes and tells you that this is what I like. So let's go back to the history of Coca-Cola, as why they could create such a huge brand presence and such a huge impact on people's mind. So during the World War II, Coca-Cola was invented much earlier, but during World War II, what they did, they made it available to all soldiers of USA. Wherever USA soldiers were fighting the World War, they opened a plant there and they made it free for all the soldiers. So when soldiers started coming after World War II America, they were having Coca-Cola in their hand. And there's a nice book written on this entire story. The book is called For God, Country and Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola is in that league, God, country and Coca-Cola. People used to feel pride that I'm having Coca-Cola. And that concept, that feeling of pride continued for years. And when they were given to taste, they knew that Coca-Cola is amazing. And that's why they could rate Coca-Cola on a higher side than Pepsi. Although Pepsi tastes better when they were blindfolded, they didn't know that. So any brand which tries to convince people, they try to create it in a smaller segment so that it impacts your mind, it impacts your subconscious mind. And why Apple replaced Coca-Cola is also because of the same reason. Apple followed the same thing that Coca-Cola did much earlier. If you remember, the first ad that came from Apple was based on 1984. And that ad was so successful, so meaningful, so impactful. Now those who know, there is a nice book called 1984. It's a nice story about that book. But it is also a year for change. And the first ad that Apple aired was showing a huge screen. Everybody was seated in a coat and pant and they were glued to the screen watching like this. And then a lady came in a sleeveless red top and a huge hammer in hand, and she broke the screen. The message was that everybody is glued to a company like IBM, which is kind of a monopoly. They are ruling the planet. But we are going to break them. And the message was 1984 will not be same again. This year we are going to change. And the second ad they came up with was Think Different. They were showing 18 different people, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, and all. So basically they were trying to impact people's mind so that when they decide based on their subconscious mind, they decide in the favor of Apple. So now learning for us is, are we getting impacted by all this and taking our decisions? Or are we using our thinking cap and deciding based on that? Now decision is for us to take on. Back to you.
I think along with this being a speech marathon, it is a marathon of introduction, a longer marathon. Okay, so for the first speech, I was trying to figure out what our evaluator is like outside of Toastmasters. I went to his Instagram profile, and there were stories, some very touching stories of things that are everyday to us or to anybody of us. And the special part of those stories were that they were in the form of poetries. I don't understand how patient somebody can be and creative to create poetry for each story that they have. The person was almost always in a Nehruvian jacket. Please welcome Toastmaster Arijit for the evaluation criteria.
I'm always in a Nehruvian jacket because that's the only jacket I have. So our next speaker is attempting his L1P1 speech. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator. So it's a twofold. First, he will be giving the speech, work on the feedback, and next part of it will be that he has to work as a speech evaluator. So this is part of the entire process. The purpose of the speech is for a member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator for his next speech. With that, I will hand it over to the Toastmaster.
Do you know what is common between Amazon, Oracle, VMware, and Swiggy?
They all are.
They have office in Bangalore.
Okay, so these are also the places where our next Toastmaster has left his mark in his IT career that spans over 2 decades. A person who likes current affairs and movies, please welcome Toastmaster Saurabh for his speech, The Pursuit of Purpose. The pursuit of purpose, Toastmasters all.
Money, fame, power, happiness. What is the one thing you want the most in your life? My dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever asked yourself or even pondered what you truly yearn for in your life? Let me share you an interesting story which highlights the significance of this question. Sometime back, my friend Rakesh joined me. He seems worried and confused. He started in an anguished tone. Saurabh, I am in a great dilemma. I have 3 job offers, but I am not able to decide which one to accept. One company which offered me is offering great salary, but seems has great workload. The other one has office far away from my house. The third one has good work culture, good work environment, but salary seems less. I need your help to decide. While I heard him speak, in my head, I was like, bro, if this is a difficult situation to be in, I wish this difficulty for everyone in this world. However, I engaged with him. I asked, well, this seems a difficult decision for you, but let me make your life easy by asking one simple question. What is the one thing you want the most out of these jobs at this point in your life and career? Poor guy, he was expecting a straightforward answer from me, like pick X company over Y or Z, but it felt like I started giving some gyan instead. To my surprise, he responded, learning. Learning is the most important thing at this point in my career. Intrigued, I further prodded. Okay, tell me one thing. Are you willing to work for a company which pays you peanuts in a horrible work environment, but you get to learn a lot each day? He responded with a resounding no. Why would I do that? I would never join this company, he said. Then, my dear friend, I said, learning is not the top priority from this job at this point of time. Let's try again. Now he admitted it's money. Saurabh, it's money. I said, thank you for your honesty. But tell again, is money so much important to you that you are willing to work for a company no one knows of, under an uninspiring boss, but they pay you a lot? He replied, I cannot do this. It's not acceptable. Then, my dear friend, I said, money is not the thing you are looking to at this point of time from these jobs. Let's give a try again. After a few iterations, Rakesh had the self-realization that it is work-life balance along with a decent pay that is paramount to him. He went ahead to accept those opportunities which offers him both, while it was not the company with the highest pay or the greatest possible learning. The lesson here is interesting. We all encounter such spots in life like Rakesh. Tough decisions to make, tough choices to consider for. And in all such moments, I have learned over the year that it helps to ask yourself continuously and consecutively one simple fundamental question. What is the one thing you want from life at that point of time? What is the utmost desire you seek above everything else in life? This has 2 parts. The first part emphasizes the importance of the one extraordinary thing which you really want, singular and definitive. The one thing you really want, not even fairly want, the very one thing. Second part stays in your life. This means considering all aspects of your life at that point in time, be it family, kids, parents, solitude, mental health, it could be anything. This keeps on changing as we navigate life and life experiences. This question is very important as humans have a very weird behavior. If we do not know the thing we truly want at some point, what we end up asking, the next best thing is everything. And that's where the problem lies. So I urge each of you, whenever you are confused next time with life, ask yourself the simple question. What is it, the one thing I want the most from life? The answer isn't easy to find, but absolutely necessary and vital to discover. Thank you.
we definitely have something to do today. All right, let's move to the final speech of the day. For the final speech, our evaluator is somebody who has seen the Indian IT industry from its stages of infancy. He's a person who is a comedian, but has lived most of his life in the city of dreams. Person who is a gifted singer and left us spellbound 2 weeks back, right here. Please welcome Toastmaster Vinayak. Of the International Technical
Thank you so much for the speaker today is giving L3P1 in the pathway visionary communication. The purpose of the speech is the purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she uses non-verbal communication when delivering a speech.
Thank you. So the final speaker of today, she's a guest, but she's almost like family to Toastmasters. She is the president of Speak Up Toastmasters Club and weaves poetry into her speeches. She's a engineer by profession and an aspiring professor. Please welcome Toastmaster Vaidehi for his speech. Blessings in disguise, Toastmaster Vaidehi.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. Those days of my nursery school days, very close to my heart. Greetings, dear Toastmasters and guests. I would not ask either of you to raise your hand if you have used such body language or sign language as blessing in disguise. But I'm going to tell you a few incidences where cues have made me feel amused. Long ago, when I was a school student, I loved being this MC, anchor, elocution competition, and you name it. Memory. As cooperative and important or prominent it sounds, it is deceit. My dear mother, blessing in disguise, would help me by secretly hiding in a place where only I can spot her, because it becomes cheating otherwise. So, when I had to call Mr. M.M. Singh, the vice president of our school, she would just say this, Turban, Pagdi, Mr. Singh, and I would know his introduction by heart. She saved my day. Fast forward, moving to my intermediate education, I was too confused with the pace. I was not getting to know how do I go further? How do I solve this problem? And again, blessing in disguise. My mathematics teacher saved me. When I was solving a problem, he would enact this, which means integrate. Area under the curve, solid figure inscription, and whatnot. It just boiled down with his sign language, the cues. And when I was solving, the imagery would flash so rapid. My myth, my misconception that this sign language or giving cues is only for specially abled broke down. Because as normal as I seem, I'm not. I too need these cues. Distinguished Toastmaster Yaska and I, we keep visiting different clubs here in Bangalore. But I have this problem that we follow certain culture in our club, speaker, that after the general evaluation gives his or her report, the podium is handed over to the presiding officer. But it is not what is generally followed. The general evaluator hands the podium to Toastmaster of the Day. So, as generous as he is, Yaska points me to the Toastmaster of the Day. That saves me from a lot of embarrassment. Now, there are a few images that I recollect. Maybe I have not put in the proper chronology. But wait, why am I sharing these memories? Why should I tell you that these cues, these just hand gestures, will save your day. That's because it's told that you just don't ask for a blessing, you be a blessing this time. When you see a person nervous, maybe in the examination hall, of course not the board exam because you will be penalized for that, you know that. But in different situations, if you can see person going blank or person finding it difficult to connect the dots, you can just bring in these cues. You can save them. I know, you might be saying that we have different other techniques like flashcards, whiteboard and whatnot. But why not include this as well? As I said in the beginning, 1, 2, buckle my shoe. If I would just have recited the poem, you could have easily understood what I'm intending to say, but just that body language. Enacting of what the person is trying to say will enhance it in your memory. It will create that imagery in your memory. That might save somebody's day. So give it a thought. Give it a serious thought. Why weaving these nitty-gritty body language, or what we say effective body language, is so important in your communication that keep me playing, holding your hands like this and standing talking. Toastmaster of the day.
And take that further. But before that, communication is not limited. So the evolution of communication is not limited to the higher order dimensions. Let's talk about the written communication itself. We have seen that from long form emails to abbreviated text messages to tweets, now to templated memes. We have changed how we communicate in written form as well. I remember those times when I had to set up a meeting with somebody. I had to write an email saying, "Dear XYZ, I'm working on so and so project. I need your help. Can we connect on Monday, 10 p.m.? Thank you, regards, Tilok." But now it is more like a Slack message that says, "Hey, quick call."
Which is never quick.
There's one more level. Hey.
Emoji. So this part of Toastmasters is usually table topics. But today we're not going to have table topics, but we are still going to improvise. So we have, I think, about 5-10 minutes before we start the evaluations. Is that okay? We'll play a little game, which is about communication, just that we have to enact, as Toastmaster Valley is saying. And Toastmaster Vinayak has been forced to be the first volunteer for that. So we're going to play the game of charades for the people who don't know. So I'm going to give out the title of an English movie. The volunteer is going to enact that title, and the rest of us would have to guess. Right? Let's start with this one. Sorry. So this is the first one. Not sure.
English. English.
Three words. Third word. Crown.
Crown of life.
King. King.
Second word.
The woman king.
Lion King.
Lion King.
But
It has to be an English movie only.
yes, English.
Two words. First word.
Boxing.
Fight.
Boxing.
Fight.
Fight club.
Oh,
Fight club.
excellent. Anybody from the case? Next, but would you like to?
Five words.
The
Run.
Catch me if you catch.
Manjula, you give Manjula.
Only for offline.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Five
Five.
words.
Fourth word.
Fourth word.
Old.
Old. Okay. Fifth word.
Fifth word.
Man.
Men. No country for old men.
IMDb member. Vinayak already knows.
No gesture, Vinayak should guess.
Sixth word.
Okay.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
The girl with the dragon.
You are also banned. You are banned. Alright.
Four
Four
words.
words.
Apartments.
Train.
First word, one after another. Second word.
Time.
Watch.
Watching.
Glass.
Space. Light.
Light.
Space.
Sun.
Dark.
The Dark Knight.
Rises.
The Rise of
I thought it would take long time, but you guys did very good. A round of applause. Let's go ahead with the evaluations next. Let me call upon Toastmasters to initiate the
Let's get the evaluation session going. May I invite Toastmaster Kiran to provide his evaluation of Toastmaster detachment.
Thank you, Aaron. So I'm going to evaluate in four structured ones: design, non-verbal, audience engagement, and vocals. So first, I think in design, I think the content was, you have chosen good content and there was a logical flow. It was well structured. I think this is one of the key takeaway I would say in your speech. I think it's a concept called which I'm learning that is MISI, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, where you are speaking in buckets. And when you're speaking in buckets and you are speaking only regarding that topic, like let's say for example, if I'm speaking myself, I would speak like my school days, my college days, and my professional life. So when I'm speaking my school days, I will not speak about anything. So I'm bucketing my speech. And I'm speaking only about that. I think that what I can figure out, like it was well structured. And there are other techniques called like pyramid and all, but this was I could connect with this basic technique. And in terms of non-verbal, I think the most takeaway is eye contact, and you sustain with all of us. And the posture, which was professional and confident, I could see. And in terms of vocal, I would come to the rate of speech later on, but volume was good. Like you used the vocal variety whenever you want to whenever you need. And putting it all together, I think opening was awesome. Like you engaged with the audience by opening itself, and transition was smooth, and closing was good. I could figure out that you are an analytical communicator. So that's my evaluation. Over to Arun.
Wonderful evaluation. I will reserve my thoughts on the overall speech construct and qualities data. Now I request DTM Yaska to provide his evaluation on DTM Nitesh's speech.
So, DTM Nitesh, if I had to summarize the entire speech in one sentence, you have raised the bar higher. So, what really went well? I'm going to use the terminology of bar. The first one I really liked is the body language. The entire, you utilize the space very nicely, you're moving left and right, and the hand gestures that you're using, that was really, really good. I would say appropriate hand gestures wherever they sip of the cup, all these examples, I think that was really good. Next is the appropriate flow of the speech. You had a very good flow throughout the speech. You open with a curiosity, will you evaluate a teacher? And then the transition to case study to case study, right? Like first case study, you took that example itself into that case study, and then you asked a question to the audience, and then again went on next case study. So like that moving flow. It didn't seem that your parts just went through. That was a really, really good part. The third R is response of the audience. It says everything, right? Everybody was glued to your speech, everybody is giving responses, everybody had the thought running. So I would say these are the really good points that really went well. Now what we can improve? First is on the body language part itself, you are looking down consistently at the gavel. I don't know if that is but looking down seems that you are trying to remember something and getting back. So always keep your eye level to the audience. If you are feeling that what I generally do is, if I'm not remembering, I look at the other side of the audience, or I blank out of the audience, right? I may be looking at Kalpesh, but I'm not looking at Kalpesh. Right? That's how I do that. So that's a simple idea. Then next one I want to give you is the work with the audience. There are a lot of responses. As a speaker, it's important that people hear my words. Like the responses are coming parallel, different responses are coming. It's up to you to stop them, say that, okay, now let me speak. Or give them the space to give the response. Otherwise, like I missed out some words that you were speaking because of the response, because of speaking in the back. Right? So these are my two takeaways, not takeaways, few things that you can improve on. So ultimately, it was a really good speech I was telling. We gave a thought-provoking session, I would say. Everybody had that. The ending question was really good. We ensured that all of us go out with a question in our head. Are we thinking on ourselves, or are we using external influence? Are we getting influenced by the external influence? So that's something I would want to do about it.
Evaluation. Now I would request Arjun to provide his evaluation on Toastmasters honor speech.
Thank you, General Evaluator Arun. And Toastmasters Saurav, at the very start of the speech, you came, the title itself had an alliteration. An alliteration always works wonders in hooking the audience. Similarly, the person of purpose had me hooked to what was coming ahead in the speech. Now, the areas you excelled as a speaker is what I personally like about you, or perceive you as someone who writes really well. And when you are a good writer, naturally you are a good storyteller. So that storytelling aspect of you comes forth, and there are various aspects of a storyteller. Like you use descriptive language, very beautiful, lucid language you use as intrigue, further prodded. The vocabulary was something people will take it forward. And the other aspect was that your story had well-defined characters and situations during the speech. There was also a conflict which was happening, and whenever there's a conflict, you are addressing it with a solution. So that was very nicely done. The humor was good. There was some contemporary language which Bangalore people normally relate to, like blow. And throughout the speech, I was noticing the audience, everyone was nodding whenever you were making suggestions. However, there are areas to work upon during the speech. One of that would be character play. You had two characters, yourself and your friend. However, there was this one thing you used, resounding, one expression you used, resounding. When you said resounding, the word was resounding, but the character's tone was not resounding. It was very feeble. So you have to play into the character. You have to get into the character to make it sound more resounding. And the other thing I noticed during the speech, your hands were almost like this. There was a certain area where you said 2 parts. 2 parts. Could have said 2 parts. That gets our attention as an audience. And one aspect, I won't say I was disappointing is a taboo word in Toastmasters, but I would say I was disappointed because you finished such a beautiful speech. I was all hooked up, but you finished it within 4 minutes 57 seconds. I became an evaluator only to listen to you for the full extent of 7 minutes. So you have to do justice to your audience and speak as much as time provided to you. On that note, over to you.
All the 3 minutes. On that note, I would welcome the final evaluator, Toastmaster Vinayak, to give his evaluation on Toastmaster identity.
Thank you very much. So when I came to know about this purpose of the speech, I was researching on Google, and the first phrase that came, it said, "Body language speaks louder than words." And we had a visual enactment of this, right, today. It was, if I have to use a word, it was like a Bharatanatyam performance. I mean it as a compliment. Master Nitesh had mentioned about, showing videos to the students with the sound muted. If today's speech of Toastmaster Library was done without the sound as well, I think most of us would have caught the crux of it, right? The pugly. No, it was the verbal and non-verbal, the hand gestures and your verbal voice modulation was fantastic. I really loved the speech. I couldn't. Toastmaster spoke about looking at the audience to see how engaged they were during the previous speech. I didn't do that because I was engrossed by what I could do. I couldn't look at others. There was very good usage of stage. You were using the stage back and forth. You had, like I said, brilliant voice modulation, the facial expressions, and the necessary inflections. The pugly example that I gave, you could see, the audience could visualize your mother saying pugly, right? And that could come across there. Gestures help imprint the speech in memory, your phrases in memory. And I still remember Toastmaster Vaishnavi's previous table topics thing also, where she had used a lot of gestures. Even today's speech, that day's speech, it is in memory because of the usage of gestures, and you have basically embodied the purpose of the speech today. I do not have any major areas of improvement. The only area of improvement, if at all, I had to say, you seemed a bit nervous in between. I don't know if that was part of the unintentional movement that has to be there, but it was kept to a minimum, so it fulfills the purpose of the speech. But there was slight nervousness which I could detect. And while you were using the space, you had 3 examples. So maybe if you had, one possible thing is you can designate like specific areas for the 3 examples. That's all. Overall, I was blown away. It was a fantastic speech. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful evaluation. Now, are we ready for the tag team to provide its report? Toastmaster Venkatesh, you're ready. Okay. Please welcome Toastmaster Venkatesh.
Thank you.
You do not type yourself.
Before I submit my report, I am going to take 1 minute of your time, okay? So as Saurav said, as he has mentioned, morning I also gone through the same situation. I had 3 options in my hand. Okay, I was wake up at 9:10. 9:10. One option, I can sleep further. And second, I have one important meeting tomorrow. For that one, I can prepare. That I have to come here for the Toastmaster meeting. I was chosen the third one with the hurry, so that I was come late. Without taking the breakfast, okay? With all the speaker by the speech, they have filled my stomach. Okay. So I have taken the 1 minute of time. Again, I'm saying, as I said, all the speaker was taken. Able to the time very well. The speech was amazing. And I will start with the prepared speech. TM Dixon was taken 7.2 minutes. TM Nitesh was taken 7.2 minutes. And TM Saurav was taken 4 minutes 46 seconds. TM Vaibhavi was taken 4 minutes 57 seconds. And coming to the evaluation, TM Kiran taken 1 minute 37 seconds. TM Yaska taken 2 minutes 40 seconds. And PM Arjit taken 3 minutes full time. PM Vinayak taken 2 minutes 37 seconds. Thank you. Thank you.
Over to Toastmaster Kalpesh to provide his artwork.
So for the prepared speech, I don't found a single pillar words that is a good. And one generalized, I am giving a comment for the evaluation. So one thing I observed that good today Arjit take very less O's and arms. Like if we know that his name is first there. This improvement I see, and only just feedback for Toastmaster Kiran and Toastmaster Vinayam when you are giving the feedback that O and answer. But I feel like that when you are giving feedback is good, but when you thinking on that, then we little bit disconnect from what you are giving feedback. So this is my opinion.
Over to Toastmaster Swami to provide the comment.
So nobody used the word of the day. Because I think today table topics were not there. People had not used this word in their prepared speech. So there were a lot of good words which were used, like spec in its accolades, spellbound, abrogated, pondered, anguish, recoiled in horror, solitude, intrigued, crux, engrossed, inflections, chronology, thought-provoking, alliteration, lucid, feeble, resounding. I could not find any thing to improve on. So yeah,
I will now give my general evaluation report, and let me start with this question. Did you guys feel alive today during the meeting?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Who do you think is responsible for this?
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster today, okay? Is that it?
Kalpesh.
Kalpesh, okay? Any other guesses?
All of us.
All of us, thank you. All of us. Imagine you have the best orchestra playing at NCPA in front of an empty auditorium. How would that feel? Absolute waste of time. Maybe you could watch it on YouTube later, but unless you are able to coordinate with the effect that has on the audience, it won't be as spellbinding. And to that effect, I think each one of us deserve accolades for the way this meeting has been. I have never felt this energized at the end of a Toastmaster meeting as I have today. Full credit to every role taker, every audience member, and each of us, I think, respected the platform that Toastmasters is, and therefore, well done to all of you. Let me now go role by role. Of course, Toastmaster Kalpesh is a veteran in being a Sergeant at Arms. I would want to call him the Sergeant at Arms Emeritus of Pune Toastmasters. Of course, BTM Nitesh always has a couple of stories to share, inspires us, and makes us look forward to the rest of the meeting so beautifully. Great stuff. Toastmaster of the day, what do I say about him? I think he's had his glued so beautifully today. The way he's created those segues, the way he introduced people, the effort he has taken in giving introductions. In fact, I gave him a bland introduction yesterday. He just told me I like it. So well done for taking those liberties, and I think you're feeling at home here, and I think that's a great development that I have seen in you. And then moving on to the speakers. Very well prepared speeches. I'll go one by one. Dixon, the use of a prop like a gift was fantastic. One feedback I have for you is it specifically says the speeches are not supposed to be what you learned in that module. You could have embedded those a little more suavely than you did. Not saying there are 4 types of communication. I use an acronym like here. I think that is not the intent of a speech. You could have still embedded it as your story and then figured this out, right? So that is one thing I wanted to say. And then the second speaker was Nitesh. What do I say about him? Toastmaster Saurabh, it's a pleasure to watch you refine yourself week after week in Toastmasters. I was spellbound. I don't know if I'm talking for everyone else. It was absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. And finally, Toastmaster Vaiduri. If we had 4 Toastmaster meetings of foodie in a week, she would attend all of them. We're happy for that. Thank you for bringing the energy that you do for this meeting. Then the evaluations, all of you had very different viewpoints and had the right balance of what was good and what could be improved. So thank you very much for that. Tag team as usual. Venkatesh, thank you very much for spending that extra time and sharing what you felt. We could have bots and robots here just going through the process, but there's a reason why there's people also along the process. So thank you for bringing your heart onto the stage and sharing how you felt. Really well done. Our counter, Kalpesh, well done. And thank you for being diligent about how the evaluators are giving their evaluation. Because like you rightly said, prepared speeches, people get the time to rehearse, come on stage and talk. And because of that, there's much lesser crutch words used. As evaluators, as TMODs, as Gs, we tend to think while we speak because of it there's an and and the lesser we have of that, we shine better. So thank you for bringing that out. Toastmaster Soumya, thank you. Your English is pretty good. You don't have to feel like, will I be able to be there, man? And I have full adulation for all of you. And that's been my general evaluator report today. Feeling very happy. Let me put it that way. I want to share my emotions. It's been a brilliant meeting. Thanks everyone for joining. Back to the team.
To the last part, I think something that I observed by Toastmaster Kalpesh was saying that we had a roadmap meeting that I was presenting at work last week. And instead of focusing on what I was saying, what the feedback was coming, I was noticing how many crutches were Going back to the subject, I think what about the future of the communication? How is going to evolve? Technology has become a lot pervasive. And I think we are going to have a lot more nuanced communications with respect to how technology feeds into this. AI, VR and AR for immersive communication, probably revolutionary things like brain-computer interaction, all that is possible. But one thing that still stays is the content why we communicate. That is not going to change. So what we need to wait and watch is, although technology is going to come into our communication space, are we able to maintain that human touch to communication? Thank you. With that, I request Toastmaster Nitesh to come in and, one last announcement. Voting link is open. Please go ahead and vote.
Kudos and adulation to all of us, as Rihan said. Before we close, I have two things. I'm sure you are busy with voting, so let's take
I'm listening.
the feedback received. So 10-15 seconds. Yeah, we can go with guest feedback, and then we'll go to the important messages that we have. Yes, your feedback, sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters.
You can come on the stage.
Really happy to be part of today's meeting. I think I am in this podium almost 8 years afterwards, so long before I was part of the Toastmasters Club, and a lot of energy. I could recall the flow of prepared speech, table topics and evaluation, and the speeches were really good. I mean, there is a lot of message in the whatever the prepared speeches were there. I really like Saurabh's speech in terms of if you're changing a job, so what are the dimensions we need to look at, work-life balance, learnings, or money, etc. Right? I am in that process currently, but I will be able to decide that what is important for me at this point of time. Really like all the speeches and table topics. I think it is really good. Though I am not that great in English, trying this English, but that's the reason I didn't volunteer. But otherwise, I really liked looking forward to be part of these meetings.
So collective wisdom is always more than individual intelligence, and that's what we show in Toastmasters. So feedback, please.
So I think two main things that I liked about this meeting. This is the first ever meeting, Toastmasters Club meeting that I've attended. I've heard about it a lot, but this is the first time I'm here. So two things that stood out for me is one is that everybody has a role to play. So everybody is participating as an active participant, not just a passive one, which is what I like the most. And second is everybody is so accepting, I think, which is very important. Everybody is here to learn, and I could see that people are at different stages of evolving. So there is a lot to learn, but at the same time, the acceptance that everybody has, I think that makes us easy to learn and grow. That's what I like the most.
So we have a couple of more. Good.
So good morning to everyone. This is my second meeting attending here. But today, really, I don't know exactly how to express myself. It was amazing. Amazing is amazing. I think everybody had nice breakfast at home. I don't know. But the energy, the spirit, each everybody spoken very well. Super, really. After a long time, I'm really enjoying the Toastmaster meeting. The energy level with everyone, the way dinner level and PM Modi, really they brought up very nicely each and every aspect of the meeting. Really, I thoroughly enjoyed. Thanks to everyone. Really good.
Okay. Before I move on to the results, one thing I wanted to share that I have already shared a form for all the members. Please fill out feedbacks. I know we had a great meeting and then everybody is energetic, but we want to improve further. There's always scope for improvement. And one thing that I coined when we had this installation ceremony, process, progress, and perfection. I'm a big fan of process. In fact, I have done my MBA in process management itself. So processes, I'm very keen on that. And then there are a lot of things that we can improve on. We have got some very good suggestions, especially one suggestion I like that role takers, we announce winners as role takers. We should segregate, like tag team is separate and then we have PMOD and GE and TTM because they get more time on space and obviously people will be unconsciously biased and they will vote for that. So we'll do that. We'll also start giving, that's what we are planning, let's see how much we can do, physical rewards so that when you are a best evaluator or best role taker, best speaker, you will get something back home. Well, I personally like that when I go home, people say, okay, on a Sunday morning, what you are doing? I said, okay, this is the reward I got. It's good. Like, it always feels nice. So there are a couple of things that we want to improve on from the process perspective. Please fill out the form. And one more thing that we want to have individual development plan. Like we follow in our corporate. Here also, we have a club development plan. We have a club growth plan. That's how we want to improve on the club. But each individual has joined Toastmasters for a reason. And we want to work on that. So we have received feedback, we'll continue to receive that, but our VP education team will reach out to each one of you, whoever is a member, to work with you on an individual development plan, and we'll try to follow that, how much we can achieve. So these 2-3 things that we are planning to do, and I need all of your support because we cannot drive it only 4 or 5 people. We need all 25, 27, how much we have? 29 to follow. Okay, there's one more announcement will come later, but before that, the winners. Best role taker. Guesses? Best speaker. When I was looking at it, I could actually see almost 25, 20, 27, 28%. But best speaker is Toastmaster Dixon. Best evaluator. DTM, yes. We have received some feedback, we'll work on that. And as I said, please fill out the form we want. And one more thing, we are going to renew our membership in September, but there was a in our WhatsApp group by Toastmaster Arun that $45 is better than $60, no brainer in that. So you know, if you are going to register, renew your membership in September, you have to pay $60 as the fee has been renewed. But if you do that in July itself, we can take our membership till March, secure our membership till March in just $45. And in Indian rupees, I guess 1,300 or something we are saving if we are paying one month in advance. So I would request all of you. New members also. New members also we can do the same. So my request is to please do that. Save your 1,400. There's no point of giving that after a month. It's no logic, no brainer in that. I believe we are done. We have no more announcement, but we want to improve from this. I was really happy, and then all of you are really happy that we had a great meeting. But we want to improve from here and individual development plan to be in place. With that, I declare this meeting closed.
Photo.
Photos.
Photo, we'll have a photo session. Yes.
Smell.
No, I will.
Give it back to me
One photo, please.
Stand up.
You take that.
We'll have to manage within this.
Dixon,
We have some more.
we'll take. It's fine, let's call Dixon.
Complete the forum, decorum, and then we'll
Come in.
Hard people tell.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll thank you.
That judgment, everything together. It's okay. I'll just.
Okay.
Paneer, samosa.
Say samosa. I'm also going to take individual photos of members because they're not really good photos.
There are some snacks, so please.
What? What is today?
Some